My name is Gregg Bautista. I'm an artist, more in the realm of illustration. I started drawing when I was pretty little, about 4 or 5 years old. I remember my mom actually used to save all these little cartoon things. I used to be obsessed with Ninja Turtles, and I would draw day in and day out. It was just basically an outlet for whatever I had going on, or if I wanted to create something. And I had never been formally trained. I took one class in a community college, and that professor was actually really good. He really inspired me. He made me think. He made me try different things. I realized that I actually liked the aspect of a picture telling a story more so than just an image that represented something to someone. I wanted it to be like a universal image that sent a message to people that they can interpret on their own terms based on their own experiences. When I was taking the class at community college, my professor was actually, when he graduated from college, he was, I think like business administration or something like that, and his job was really well, but he did really well in his job, but he was bored of the whole cubicle sort of lifestyle at work. And basically he helped me realize that you don't need a big house, you don't need a TV screen in every room of your house, you don't need a year, make, and model car, and if you want to do what you find makes you happy in life, then that's what you should be going for, so you can be happy. And when my friend passed away, I decided he was happy doing what he was doing, and he was going to go to school for what he was doing, and I want to be able to do the same. And I felt that his friends, who were also artists, owed it to him to follow their dreams the way that he was going to follow his dreams. So I just started drawing like crazy. I put together a portfolio as quickly as I could because the deadline for the application for School of Visual Arts was coming up, and I just pumped out a whole bunch of artwork. While I was doing that artwork for that portfolio, I spent 5 days just drawing, slept maybe 1 or 2 hours a night and woke up and kept drawing, and I thought to myself, I really wouldn't mind if I did this as a profession, because I feel like I'm giving something back to the world that made me who I am at this point in my life. I'm showing this is who I am, this is what I can do, and I want other people to understand that, and I also want to be able to maybe affect someone's life, or even if it's for that second that they look at that picture, to make them think of something good or bad in their life. Show these people images that I see in my head, or images that make me feel a certain way that I can try to also convey to them on a canvas or a piece of paper. And I feel that if I would be able to do that, even if unfortunately if for some reason I can't do that as a living, if I could still do it on the side, I feel that would make my life seem more fulfilling. Here I have a couple pieces that I've done recently, either for a project for someone or for my portfolio for School of Visual Arts. One of my favorites right here is this one. It's called Vulture Sam. It's kind of a play on Uncle Sam. Couldn't get it by the position or the name. This was one of my first practices with really fine lines. I used a really small those gel high-tech C's. Took a long time, but it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with all the detail work and trying to make gray values out of black ink. There's one that's just graphite pencil. Benicio del Toro. If you don't know who he is, I'm sorry. But yeah, basic just portrait picture style of him. My buddy Anthony just recently was asked to do some haikus for Mark Brunetti. He's putting together a haiku book, and they were given 5 topics. The people who wrote in the book were given 5 topics, and one of them was religion. And Anthony and I have very similar opinions to it. I won't get too far into that. But basically it's a play on how religion is viewed today, where people take the belief for granted. I mean, religion is obviously meant to help people get along with their lives and help to give them strength in one way or the other on their perspective. And it's kind of a cynical play on that. I mean, here we show, on this side it says "Step to the left if he loves sex, drugs, and money," and there's a really long line on that side. And on this side it's, oh, that side's going to hell. This side here is going to heaven and saying step right if you believe in my 2,000-year-old book of desert scribblings, and there's 3 people online. And in the middle there's God and all his holiness. Another one, if you notice, I do a lot of my sketching in pen. Here's some studies of some birds, legs, deer. I do a lot of my sketching straight to pen because I feel like it will help me in the long run be more selective with which lines I lay down, and that way I don't have to rely on an eraser so much. There's this character that elevator art has called Killing Time, and basically what I want it to be, the end result is a figure with a head, with a clock head, committing suicide, but instead of it being gory and disgusting on the opposite end of the gun discharge, I want it basically the figure and the background to be black, but the other side to be colorful spatter. So that one's going to be a lot of fun to put together. Here's one that I did a couple days ago, actually, about a week ago. It's just a picture of a bird flying. I was playing with some whiteout and some spray paint. Figured I'd put an interesting little twist on it and give him hands for talons. That's a detail that not a lot of people have picked up on, which is actually pretty cool by me, but whatever. I got started on the 10 City EP. I actually met elevator art at an accidental Seabird show. I went with my my buddy Anthony, who plays bass in the show, and Jesse. We met up there at Bar A in Lake Como for their show, and I had actually run into the guys of the band of Elevator Art a couple times beforehand. I took pictures of them in a Point Pleasant show, and I went to a show theirs a little after that, and we just got really friendly, started talking. They're a bunch of great people, really friendly, and asked if I wanted to do some artwork for their upcoming album, and I was thrilled because it was a really cool thing. I mean, I had just started deciding that I really wanted to do art as a profession, and I thought, wow, this is a really awesome opportunity. So I jumped at the chance, and I think I was most comfortable about the project because the band offered me free range to do what I wanted to do with the drawing, so I didn't have to feel like I was being directed or like I was on a leash on anything. And I really enjoyed working on the art, and basically what I wanted to do was I had the idea that I wanted to draw each of them portrait style, but I wanted to do kind of like a gritty, kind of dirty kind of feeling of a portrait of each one of them. So I strayed away from what I was initially going to do with straight pencil and pen and shading with the pen and all that, and what I did was I used a gel pen, and I actually used a lot of really fine lines to do cross hatching and all that stuff. So I had a lot of fun because I actually learned a lot on that. It was kind of like an experiment that turned out really well, I guess. A couple days later, after I sat down to start it, I had 6 portraits. I showed it to them. I also did the toy robot, which was actually really fun too. Really fun little colorful idea that Damon actually presented me with a sketch and said, "Can you do something along these lines with the toy robot?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I played with it a little bit and ended up with the result that I had, and showed it to the band, and they loved it. So that definitely gave me I guess like a confidence boost, I guess, that I'm on the right track. I'm doing what I should be doing with myself. And one day gave me this project. I really wanted it to reflect. I wanted it to be more realistic on the portrait side, but like I mentioned earlier, I wanted it to also be a little dirtier. I wanted it to be like really gritty and really rough. So first one here, this one is a toy robot. This little guy right here is on the actual CD. He was a lot tougher than I thought he would be, because I actually ended up using, to make him look metallic on the drawing, I used pencil and a silver Sharpie, which was a pain in the ass because it kept bleeding everywhere. So I had to keep going over it with pen and whiteout, and anything else, like this red part was a ballpoint pen. That took a lot of time because I was really new to coloring in with ballpoint pen. As for the other portraits, what I used was a brush, an ink brush. I used different thicknesses of gel pens, some whiteout, some spray paint. I used a lot of like fine line techniques on each of them. Like for example, if you take Damon's for example, because he has a lot of value on his. If you look at this part really right here, it's just a whole bunch of cross hatching, and it gets tighter where it gets darker. I had doing his hair and his facial hair was actually a lot of fun because I had to use the brush on him and Joe the most with the quick little strokes. Like the beard, if you look really close to it, you'll see that the brush I actually would have to push on the bristles to make it fan out, so I could just get a couple of quick strokes so it looks like natural hair. And the only pain about that was that I'd only be able to get maybe 5 or 6 strokes before I'd have to keep pushing it back down, and that took forever. On the girls and Mike too, the hair was a lot of the hair was fun because it was interesting to have to use the brush and the pens and the markers to try to replicate their hair, and they loved it, and that just gave me the extra boost I needed to just keep hacking away at the pieces and finish them, brought it into them, and I got the seal of approval and the fantastic artwork that came out on the album. I really wanted to be able to just have a broad spectrum of different techniques and different styles that I could pull from, and eventually have one to call my own. I mean, right now I'm pretty sure I'm onto something, but I want to be able to be to that point where someone sees something online of mine, or someone goes to a show and sees something and be like, oh, that's something Gregg did. Like I think that would be a really cool feeling.